Welcome back to episode 6. I can't believe we're actually here at episode 6 now, to be fair. This is amazing.
Time is going so fast.
So fast. Soft girl era is literally everywhere right now. It's like a global phenomenon. Like, it slowly started trickling in January, and I feel like everyone is talking about being in their soft girl era.
Yeah.
But let's face it, life, anxiety, men don't always let us be in our soft girl eras, so we thought we'd dig into that a bit.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this one because I feel like this does lean into the types of content I've been making recently.
It does actually, yes.
Yeah, so I feel like I have thoughts.
Many thoughts?
Yeah, many thoughts.
Expect chaos.
Yeah.
And some heartfeltness. I feel like this is going to bring out some serious topics as well in us.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a deeper one. Not the bookish chaos, it's more...
But in true Bronte style,
there will be
chaos and carnage will follow, I'm sure.
Yes, probably. And we'll probably go on a tangent at some point that will lead to even more chaos.
So let's get into it.
Yeah. So, for a little bit of context, I've actually been vlogging recently on TikTok, on YouTube, and I've been doing these, like, what I call cozy vlogs, which is showing my other hobbies outside of reading, and it very much leans into this, like, soft girl trend and soft girl era. Even though I haven't specifically called it that, it's a very similar content type. But I do feel sometimes like a little bit of a fraud because some of these moments are not actually that peaceful or soft, and they just are in theory. Like, for example, when I vlog baking, it is never that relaxing for me because I am one of these people that causes like chaos in the kitchen when they cook.
Yeah.
I can't tidy as I go along.
Yeah.
And also, I'm not very good at baking, especially since I've been trying to bake vegan because my sister's vegan.
Yeah.
I've found my recipes are even worse. So it's just like chaos when I'm doing it, and I'm trying to actually film and vlog, which is a form of work.
And it is stressful.
It is stressful. Like, I enjoy it, but it's a lot to think about. It's a lot of like mental maths and things, and like trying to get the angles while you're actually doing something that's very manual.
Yeah.
So sometimes I do feel like a bit of a fraud with these soft girl moments.
Yeah, I get that because I have my other TikTok account outside of my BookTok account, and sometimes I film these moments. Like the other day I posted a video about me and my kids and we went out to the farm for the day, and it was genuinely the best day. Like, we had so much fun on Easter Sunday, but it was so chaotic. Yeah. Every moment was stressful. Someone was screaming because they wanted this ice cream, that ice cream. They didn't want to do this, they didn't want to do that. So I get that completely. Like, the video made it look like the best, like, perfect family day out, obviously, because it was great. But the reality is no day like that with small kids is peaceful at all.
Yeah, it's enjoyable, but it's not peaceful.
100%.
And it's not soft.
Yeah.
But I do feel like it's a hard one for me because I do feel conflicted about it because there is genuinely a lot of things that I do within these soft girl vlogs and stuff that actually do bring me peace. Yeah. So, like, one is I've recently started colouring, which is so simple, but I never used to like colouring when people did it. Like, there was a trend of it a few years ago as well, I think just before COVID, where people had all those adult colouring books, and they were all like the mandala ones.
Yeah.
I never liked them because they were a bit intricate.
I had those for a while,
Yeah, I found them a bit fiddly. Like, I'd prefer to just actually draw or paint. But, you know, since all these, like, cozy, like, bigger ones have come out...
Yeah, they're like children's easy colouring books. I've seen them.
Yeah, that's literally what I have. It's much more mindless. So I just put in an audiobook and I just sit in colour. And, like, sometimes it's only for, like, half an hour, or sometimes it's while I'm watching TV in the evening. But it genuinely does bring me peace.
Yeah.
And I find it so relaxing. And it's one of the only hobbies I can do, actually, as well, where I'm listening to an audiobook and still take it in.
Yeah.
So that's something that actually does genuinely work for me, that I got from cozy TikTok, soft girl TikTok.
Yeah. I love it. Like, I watch it and I'm like, oh, the feeling in my mind of, like, how it could feel to feel that kind of peace seems like the best idea ever. But the reality is, I just genuinely don't know how to relax.
Yeah.
I can find moments of calm-ish, like audiobook on, clean the house. But even then, I'm like, I've got to do this, got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. And I just don't know how to actually
switch off
and still my mind. I feel like that could be a phase of life, you know.
Yeah, do you think
Full-time
that's
job.
since you've had kids, or were you like that before as well?
I feel like I've always been an on-the-go person. Like, we haven't touched on it too much in the podcast yet, but I have severe combined ADHD, and I've never really known how to sit still. But I just think, like, I feel like I've been able to chill out before, but I think in the phase of life I'm currently in, full-time job, content creation, podcast, 2 small children, stepmom to 1, house to run, husband to deal with, like, it's a lot. So I feel like my brain doesn't really know how to shut off. When I read, I find a bit of peace, but I never really feel, it's very, very rare I feel true moments of complete calm.
Yeah, I guess, like, it is very different in the sense that our lifestyles are completely different, and that very much dictates how able we are to lean into this soft girl era. And it's really interesting to hear you say that you don't feel peace very often, because I'm really lucky that in the last year or so I feel relaxed most of the time, but then I think back to when I was working full time and the answer would have been very different. So I can't imagine then having, like, kids on top of that and, you know, all these other things to deal with as well. So, yeah, it's really interesting hearing different perspectives on it.
We're all so different, so much going on. And I feel like some people just genuinely don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't come as a natural state of mind.
My mum's just like you. She hates routine. She really struggles with, like, being sat in the house. Like, even if she's been busy all day, when she sits down in the evening, she's still, like, doing something else and thinking about what she has to do. And obviously, when we were younger, that made more sense because she was a mum, she had 2 children, she was a single mum, she worked, and she had a house. Very much like the same similar lifestyle as you, other than being a single mum. But now, her kids are grown up. They don't live with her.
Yeah.
You know, so she's got so
Still doesn't know how to sit still.
Yeah, she still doesn't know how to do it.
And she's a Gemini like me.
They are so similar, guys.
ADHD Geminis, mate. Yeah. It's just carnage up here.
Yeah, she's very similar to you in that sense. So yeah, but I'm a lazy Leo. I'm a cat. I just like to sit around all day. I can switch off like that.
I can be lazy for the day. Rarely do I get the chance to do that, but I can be lazy. But my mind doesn't switch off. I feel like that's the key difference. I could physically laze around all day, but at no point will I feel calm.
Actually, that's actually very relatable in that sense, because I do relax physically, but mentally I am always doing something else. So, like, even when I watch TV at night, and this is why I've really liked colouring recently, actually, because it stops me doing this, but usually I will be making content while I'm watching TV.
Yeah, me too.
Whether it's an Instagram post, you know, prepping ideas, editing TikTok videos that are in my drafts, like, it doesn't matter what it is, I'll be doing it, and I'm not fully watching what's on the TV.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't that, before I did TikTok, it was like doing my illustrations at night to then sell, and, you know, like, I'm always doing multiple things.
Yeah.
But I think it's different because in my case, they're things that I really, really enjoy, whereas some of the things occupying your brain space are like household responsibilities, and so that's where it's different.
Is the nursery been paid? Like, have I booked Zola's school lunches? Like, swimming lessons? I need to get their bags ready. Is Zola's water bottle ready for the morning? Like, there's so many things, and I feel like I'm constantly dropping balls. So, but I feel like to be fair, I haven't really lent into soft girl era too much in my TikToks at all, really, because I really lean into chaotic girl life, really. I think. But I love it. Like, I love watching it and thinking, this looks so chill.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, one of the reasons I started making these videos was because it's my absolute favourite thing to watch. Like, over book videos, over fashion videos, you know, over anything. I love watching people do, like, cosy vlogs.
Yeah.
Or, like, even just someone's, like, I find there's a girl, I can't remember her name on TikTok, but she's literally huge, and she's just gone as a full-time content creator. But all she was posting was her 5 to 9 a.m, like, before work. And it was literally, you know, there's, like, short ASMR vlogs where it's like the door slamming and the coat. Yeah. my favourite thing. I'm just hooked instantly.
We're so obsessed with ASMR videos, it's so funny.
Yeah, like, because it utilises all your senses, doesn't it? And you just instantly get hooked. But yeah, I started kind of making vlogs and things because it was my favourite thing to watch. And I actually do really love filming them too.
I do have a potentially tomorrow evening, Kyle might be out with the kids for dinner. And I'm thinking I'm not going to go. And I've got some new PJs upstairs. I'm going to start a new book. And I'm just going to
try and relax
a bit.
Yeah.
Because I have to force myself into those situations, which is normally the times when I end up being the most productive.
What about a bath? Do you like a bath?
I just get irritated. I like a bath.
So much like my mum.
I like a bath, but I just end up getting frustrated. I'm like, I want to get out and do something.
That's exactly what my mum and Whitney are like.
Yeah.
I'm literally a mermaid at this point, aren't I? The amount of baths that I take. That is even when I'm like anxious or depressed, which to be fair doesn't happen very often anymore, but when I was really bad with those things, even a bath would sort that out. I don't know what it is, because I don't like swimming, I just like baths.
I love swimming. I do like a bath, but like I said, like they're normally like short and sharp, and I feel like I relate them to like having to take my fake tan off. I used to have to like soak in an Epsom salt bath before the godsend that was rose and caramel fake tan remover.
Yeah.
And I used to have to just like fucking lay in the bath for 20 minutes in Epsom salts to make it easy to take my fake tan off. So again, I just like twig it with it's a chore.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, for me, I literally baths, colouring, what else? Reading, watching TV, having those what would you even call them? Those like videos on YouTube that are like backdrops. You know, the ones I always use for reading.
Oh yeah, Robin uses those as well. Like they're
they're almost like, I don't know if they actually are AI, but they're like little twinkly backgrounds and stuff. Anyway, you guys know what I mean. But those,
they just bring the vibes.
Yeah, like even when I'm working in the day on editing or whatever it is, content creation, I always have one of them in the background, and they relax me so much.
So funny.
Yeah.
I should try it one day.
Yeah.
I do that at Christmas, put a little fireplace on the TV.
Yeah. Oh, I love the Netflix Witcher fireplace in autumn. But yeah. No, I'm quite lucky, I think, in that I can switch off. But I didn't always used to be like that. I had to have a lot of therapy, actually, to be like that. Because when I was at uni, people were getting a little bit concerned about my obsessive behaviours with perfectionism. And like, I would literally be up until like 3 a.m. doing uni work. And I wasn't eating very well, wasn't looking after myself because I was just like so obsessed and couldn't switch off. So it hasn't always been like this. I had to teach myself how to do it.
That's what I mean. I feel like phases in life bring out different things in you, and then you learn how to cope and deal with that. And then, you know, there is going to be a day, as sad as it sounds, where my kids aren't here. And I always think, like, oh yeah, I'm just really looking forward to that. But I know what the reality is, when the kids aren't like filling up my time, I'm going to be like, what do I do with myself? And I'm going to, I'm going to be older and have to freaking relax a bit more. So
yeah,
I'm just one of those people that thrives in a busy and chaotic environment. It's just natural for me, and I feel like I'm getting to the point now where people accept that for what it is rather than overly worrying about it.
Yeah, or try to fight it.
Yeah, like people, you need to slow down. And I don't. If I need to slow down, I'll hit brick wall and I'll just do it. I'm not very good at going, I need to slow down, I'm going to take a rest day. But I will eventually hit wall, and I feel like that's why I get to the point though now where when illness grabs hold of me, it like grips on for dear life because I feel like I'm not rested enough for my body to fight stuff off sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you're burnt out.
Yeah, like when I get ill, I get really ill. Like how long have I had this like cough for? Like 8 weeks now.
Yeah, it's crazy. So when you do rest, do you ever feel guilty with having so many responsibilities?
Yes, I do. I feel guilty for anything I'm not doing. So, and it's not really down to anything that anyone else is doing around me. I definitely feel like it comes from like childhood traumas, maybe traumas. I don't know. It definitely comes from like certain things growing up. But if my house isn't not immaculate. I don't feel like my house has to be immaculate all the time. But if the house isn't tidy when Kyle gets home from work, I feel bad. Like when I was really ill with whatever I've had recently, and I couldn't get up and do stuff because I felt so run down. I felt guilty that Kyle was having to do everything. The logical part of my brain is saying, you do this for everyone every single day. But that like emotional, what do they call it? The chimp. Like I was like, I feel terrible. So yes, in short, I do feel guilty for resting, but I'm aware of it, try to ignore it, and I'm definitely getting better at it. But it is a really hard thing to fight your natural instincts and like emotional reflexes, because sometimes you don't realise you're doing it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, even I feel guilty, which mine is like completely different situation to yours. I feel guilty because I have a very privileged life. Like, I'm very fortunate in the life I live. I don't really have any responsibilities. But so if I'm not doing loads, I feel guilty, like I should be, and I should be like hustling.
You feel like you're not utilising it.
Yeah. And also, like, I think mine is similar to you in that it's like a very much a childhood thing, because both of my parents are super hard workers. But like my dad especially, like, not in a normal way, like 12-hour days minimum. You know, like 6 days a week, sometimes even 7. You know, I went on holiday with him last year, and he's on the phone to work the whole time. You know, it's like that's my normal.
Yeah.
So if I'm not doing that, I'm like, oh god, I must be like really lazy or whatever.
Which in reality, that is so not true.
No, because even when I'm not doing something, I'm doing something, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
So like when I quit my job, I was still doing content, I was still trying to do freelance bits.
It's not like you're being lazy in that very typical sense of the word. Like, even if you're sat down at home, you are doing something.
Yeah, and I'm always either working on a hobby, working on a goal, or trying to work on myself in some way. Literally always. That's why, like, so many people joke about how many hobbies I have and interests, but like, that to me, there is nothing better in life than learning a new skill, having a new hobby to put your passion into. I just love it. But if I very much don't know how.
You're so good at stuff as well, like drawing, painting.
Yeah, that's all like in the same little realm.
You're so creative.
Oh, thanks. No, but yeah. So like, if I'm not doing those, I'm like, do something. You know,
yeah.
You better be working hard then if you're not doing stuff in your free time. But it's something I very much have to learn to deal with because of what I said in the chronic illness episode.
Yeah.
Because like you with getting ill, in the sense that you get ill really easily, if I push myself too hard, I'm going to be in a chronic illness flare up.
Yeah.
And even this week, I've been non-stop, I've been flat out, and I've got now an eczema flare up, which is healing, thank God. But I know that that's because my immune system was like not being looked
kicking
after.
Up a fuss.
It was kicking up a fuss. I wasn't eating properly, blah blah blah. So I definitely am very similar to you in this sense, but there's different reasons for it in a way. I absolutely, it's something I'm terrible at, is resting without guilt.
I'd love to pick a man's brains about this. Actually, I never think about speaking to Kyle about this, but like, do men ever feel like this? Do they ever feel like they should be trying to do it, or do they ever feel guilty for sitting down, relaxing, resting?
I actually saw a TikTok about this yesterday, and it was really funny. It was just this woman, I can't remember what the actual video was, but the comments were all women like, men never have to deal with this. And it was like this one comment, I remember this woman was like, I once detailed to my husband every single thing I was thinking about in my brain at all times, even when I'm relaxing. And he had a look of horror on his face, and he was like, no one person could think about all those things, they'd explode. And she was like, well, yeah, like, that's why women end up kind of burnt out, or, you know, resentful, or whatever it is. So I think probably not all, obviously. There's a lot of men that don't feel like we do with rest, but there obviously will be. Like, I think my dad is really bad at resting, to be honest. But I don't know if that's a conscious thing that he feels guilty, or he's just like you, likes to be doing something.
Likes to be busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we thought that something fun for us to do would be to give you our soft girl starter pack. So all of the real life, but also crazy and chaotic things that we do in our soft girl eras.
Yeah, I feel like I was made for this moment, to be honest. Okay, so I've got a mixture of things that are like things that I do that are very easy for people to be implemented.
Mm-hmm.
Things that I do that people shouldn't do.
Maybe I'll take some tips from this.
Yeah. Okay, so I feel like item number 1 very much links into what I was saying earlier, and that is scheduling in time for hobbies. And so I try to think at like the start of every week, when am I going to do something that's not related to content, that's not related to a job, that I absolutely love. And so like I'll be like, okay, well I've not got plans on Saturday, so Saturday morning I'm going to do some colouring with an audiobook. And it like gives me something to look forward to that I know is not social, not, you know,
so organised, don't you?
It just gives me something to like focus on. And I do that in general as well. Like in the day, I'll be like, okay, I know today's going to be like a long day. I've got a lot to do. When can I read? And that will be my soft moment. So that's item number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Item number 2 is romanticising your chores. So this is something I've only started doing in the last few months, and it's made them so much easier. So like I hate cleaning. I'm not like Tor. I really hate cleaning. I'm not like a dirty person, but I am naturally kind of messy and chaotic. And making sure that I can like do it when I want, with an audiobook on or music on or that thing on the TV I was saying, really makes it so much more enjoyable and less stressful for me. And that makes it kind of feel more like a ritual rather than a chore that has to be done.
Lovely.
Yeah. Item number 3 is a bit of a weird one. This is like not to shame, but I think having access when you're doing anything you're doing to like healthy, tasty snacks is kind of like a soft girl thing that is like self-care at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about anyone else, but when I'm doing hobbies or relaxing, I naturally want to eat or drink. And it's very easy as an introvert who spends a lot of time at home to like make bad food choices. But I found recently that like doing like snack prep or meal prep and having access to like homemade tasty treats has been a really good way to like be able to still do that, but do it guilt-free.
Yeah, 100%.
So I've enjoyed that recently.
Good vibes. I do that for my kids. Not so much for myself, but I do that for I don't really snack very much these days, but for my kids I find, yes.
Yeah, I'm a big snacker. Like I'm a little often person. And then my final one, which ties into point 1, is actually having a hobby. I just feel like every person
should have one.
Should have a hobby that is not related to a job or, you know, anything that they do in their normal like 9 to 5 day-to-day life. Like you should have some kind of a hobby. Doesn't have to be creative, but I do think creative hobbies are like really good for emotions and like regulating emotions. So that is my soft girl start pack. But then these are the things that I do that are not very soft girl, and I need to stop. The first one, which is my biggest worst habit, and Tor is going to roll her eyes at this, going to bed and then doom scrolling until like 2 a.m. I am so bad when it comes to sleep in every sense of the word. Like, I've always had insomnia, but I make it worse for myself by then being on my phone until really late, and it's just, I need to stop.
You do.
I do. It's so bad. It's so bad.
I'm so weird with sleep, like healthy sleep habits.
I need to be, but I've never been good with sleep. And then my second one is procrastinating on the things that I don't like doing, so then they end up in a rush and chaotic, which is not very soft girl.
That is not very soft girl.
And it tends to be like an online food shop, and I realised at like 11 p.m. at night that I haven't done one. I've got no food left, so then I'm like on my phone under the covers like, shit, I need to do this.
I mean, we've all been there.
Yeah.
Usually on a Sunday night for me.
Yeah, some kind of time in the week when I'm supposed to be sleeping, probably.
I love this. I feel like I might have to start romanticising my cleaning, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, mine. Reading
is
essential for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I now started doing this year. Every morning I get up, apart from when I've been ill the last few weeks, but this year I've really got into the habit of getting up, making my coffee. Sometimes the kids will be up. I try and get up early enough that they are not awake by this point. And I now read 5 to 10 pages of a non-fiction book every day.
Yeah.
I love this. I have found this so useful this year for keeping me in healthier habits all round, because I feel like starting the day with something that is beneficial to your mind and future for your body is just such a good way to start the day. So that is number one. Soft girl vibes. Coffee, quiet on the sofa, especially now it's summer. Back doors open, cool breeze coming in. It is nice. It is nice.
Good vibes.
So I do have some soft girl moments. Pilates is my new big one. I discovered reformer last year. Every Friday morning, almost without fail, 9 a.m, I go and do my reformer class. It just brings me so much joy. It kind of fits with the soft girl era vibes, but
definitely.
It just brings me so much joy. I
feel
look
like
forward to it all
Pilates
week.
Is very soft girl.
Yeah. I love it. It's intense though. People don't realise how hard it is.
Yeah.
But yes, it is. It's a vibe. Setting boundaries is another one for me. Something that I've been getting much better at over the years. Whether that's boundaries with the kids or boundaries with Kyle, anything with work, I'm so much more like, it's 6 o'clock on a Thursday, I'm not doing a call. I'm putting, getting my kids ready for bed.
Yeah.
Like, those boundaries, I think, create a much softer experience for everyone, because I'm not getting stressed because I'm trying to do everything at the same time.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's a super important one for me. My slightly more chaotic ones. Audiobooks while manically cleaning my house. Bronte says, like, I'm tidy. I'm not that tidy. I'm naturally a very messy person, like typical ADHD girly. If I'm getting ready to go out, like before we went to Andy's event last week, I tried so hard to get things tidy before leaving the house. I knew Carl was going to come home and be like, fucking, what has she been doing?
Yeah.
Because I do leave a trail of destruction.
Like any time I go anywhere like that, when I get back, my bed is covered in clothes.
Throw it all off, get into bed, and sort it out the
The
next
makeup desk looks like a bomb's gone off. Yeah,
100%. I'm terrible for it. So I tend to, through the day, just kind of like let it be. But then I will throw my headphones on, put my audiobook on 2 times speed, and just like power hour is what I like to call it.
Yeah.
Put the timer on, and I see how much I can get tidied in my house in that hour.
Yeah.
I love it. And then my second one is spending money on shoes when I should be doing life admin online.
Yeah. You know what? I thought, and my parents probably too, thought I was a shopaholic. But then I met these girls, and they make me look tame, some of them. Honestly,
Amy is worse than me, I think.
Amy is the worst.
Miss Cartwright is so much worse than me.
You could name any makeup product and that girl has it. And same with skincare.
Honestly. She's on my rob list for makeup. One day and when I'm just like completely on makeup, I've lost everything, I'm poor, I'm just gonna be like, Amy, I'll come in for your makeup. But she's so good when she doesn't like something. She's always like, have this palette. I'm like, you're the fucking best.
Yeah, she gives us so much. But no, you and her beat me by a little bit.
Yeah, 100%.
Me and you were kind of close.
I'm pretty bad, especially if I'm procrastinating on doing something else.
Yeah. Internet shopping is like the worst thing that ever happened to my bank account. It takes one Instagram advert as well, and I'm like, bye.
I'm just as bad in person, because I take the kids into town for like a coffee at the weekend, and I'm like just pop into shop, and I'm like, oh, that's nice, and then, like the other week I went into Levi's.
Yeah.
That was not good for my bank.
Yeah,
it looked great.
You actually did need new trousers because you've lost weight.
Yeah, I did, but
I
could have just bought one pair.
Yeah. She could have gone to like Zara, but she went for the most expensive jeans.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. So, we've obviously shared our issues with soft life. We've shared the habits we try and adopt. We've shared our thoughts on it. How realistic do we think it actually is to embrace the soft girl culture? How realistic do we think this movement on TikTok is?
I feel like it's a really difficult one, because it comes down to so many factors. It comes down to your general lifestyle, your personality type, and also, I mean, you touched on earlier privilege. Like, I feel like so many, don't hate on me for this, but I feel like so many girls living this like soft life vibe live in very privileged situations.
Yeah, 100%.
Where they're either at uni, you know, you can tell parents pay for everything.
Yeah.
Or, you know, people that have come from money, or people that have hustled hard to make good money and now have the privilege and the luxury to slow down their life.
Yeah.
So I just really feel like it comes down to, you know, circumstance, exactly. And I think people shouldn't feel pressured to fit into this soft life aesthetic just because it's what is popular at the moment. Go against the grain if that's who you are. I always think for the people who, especially people trying to be content creators, go against the grain. Like, if you're authentic to yourself, you're likely gonna do well.
Yeah.
Because if people can tell when you're faking it.
Yeah, 100% agree. And I also think that, like you kind of touched on this, soft girl life is not for everyone in terms of, like, that's not good for everyone either. If you have a personality that is more like Taurus and likes to be busy and doing things, trying to force something that's not for you isn't going to benefit you. But what I do like about the trend is that it does encourage mindfulness and wellness.
100%.
And I think those are always good habits to try and put into your life, because let's face it, capitalism is like basically how society is ruled, right? So we have to work a long job to survive. You know, we've got to do all these responsibilities and things. So finding time for yourself, finding your passions, looking after yourself can only ever be a good thing.
Yeah.
But trying to kind of aspire to this lifestyle is unrealistic, I think, because nobody can have a life that is peaceful all the time.
And you've touched on it there, right? It's finding the realistic ways to find soft girl moments. Living this like aesthetic soft girl life is almost impossible. A lot of what you see on TikTok with the girls that make everything look soft girl, it's 99.999% fake. Like, you can't constantly live a life like that. It's not realistic.
It's so heavily curated. But also just like, not everyone is a soft girl. Not everyone is a clean girl. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. I always see these posts that are like type A girls versus type B girls. And like the type B girls kind of get shamed a lot because like people perceive it as like lazy or messy or
such
like
a type AB.
Yeah,
like, I'm such a middle ground.
Well, that's what Polly was saying when we were on holiday, and I was like, "You're type C." I'm type A for sure because I just love being organised. But there's nothing wrong with either lifestyle. It's like what works for you, unless you're obviously like drastically doing something like very unhygienic or whatever. Then yeah, that might be a problem. But otherwise,
you unhygienic bitches.
But you just have to like lean into the best of what your personality type is, whether that's soft or a hard girl. Like maybe you're really feisty and you don't like.
What is hard girl aesthetic?
I don't know.
I feel like it's giving mob wife.
Mob wife.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I was thinking like Tori Vega.
Yeah.
She would be my anti-soft girl example.
100%.
That's the kind of, if you've read Zodiac, then you know. If not, you need to get reading. But that is kind of what I was thinking is like the opposite of soft girl, and that is fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be this like peaceful, aesthetic, perfectly like neutral. I don't know, I'm pulling words out my ass now, but there's nothing wrong with any personality archetype. It's just making the best of you, whatever that personality is. This one was a good one to chat about because I think like we have a unique perspective as content creators.
Yeah.
We
can tell you the truth that some of the stuff that gets posted is clearly, it's set up for that. It's to deliver to the people what they want to see. So you shouldn't feel the pressure to be that. Because most of the people posting that aren't that. Yes, you sit there and play games, chilling out. Yes, you sit there and colour. But, you know, behind the scenes, you are moving the camera around to post these bits. So you've got chaos in between the calm of the things that you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I said about, you know, I will have a cosy vlog this Saturday, but this week has not been very cosy. This week has been manic, hence the eczema. So it's like, I am a fraud. But it's like...
Fraud. Let's just tattoo it on the forehead.
Yeah, change that to my TikTok username. But it's just like, that's the things I enjoy doing and posting. So you should take it as like that rather than...
I need to be like this.
Yes, exactly.
As you can probably tell, like with most of our episodes, we could sit here talking about this all freaking day. Sometimes I sit here thinking while we're chatting, we need to shut up because this podcast is going to be way too long.
Yeah.
Anyway, we want to know about your favourite soft girl moments, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks for another episode.
And don't forget to follow us in all of the places. We're on YouTube, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram.
We're everywhere.
We are everywhere. But we will see you in 2 weeks for a new episode. Until then, bye.